Dear students, today we will study about the third subfamily of Fabaceae, that is Caesalpiniaceae. Okay, coming to our class, like that of the previous family studies, here also we can study first the vegetative characters of the family. And under this, first we will discuss about its type of body, and that is habit. It shows great variation in habit, that is it may be trees. For example, that is Delonix regia, Tamarindus, Caesalpinia, Saraca indica, Cassia fistula, Bauhinia. These are very common plants. That is this Delonix, that is here we can see this Delonix, and it is in Malayalam vernacular name it is Vaka or Gulmoha, and Tamarindus indica, that is tamarind, Pudi, and Cassia fistula, it is our flower of Kerala, that is Kanikonna. Then Saraca indica, that is Ashokam, and Bauhinia acuminata. There are so many species are there. Bauhinia purpurea is there, pink color, that is Mandaram. Okay, and these are the examples of trees. What are they? Delonix regia, Tamarindus indicus, Caesalpinia, that is Rajamalli, Bauhinia. And shrubs are there, and sometimes undershrubs or herbs are there. And sometimes all types of plants occur in the same, that is the example. For example, Cassia fistula, it's a tree. Cassia sophiria, it's a shrub. Cassia occidentalis, that particular species are with that genus is with the trees, shrubs, and other types, and undershrub and annual herb, that is Cassia tora. And Bauhinia vahili is a woody climber. Okay, and next slide we can see this figures. Here this Cassia sophira, it is undershrub. Cassia occidentalis is there. Cassia tora, it is Cassia tora, it is nothing but it is tagara in Malayalam. So the leaves of tagara, Cassia tora, can be used as a vegetable, leafy vegetable. And Bauhinia vahli, here we can see this, it's a woody climber. See, the leaf is like that of the Bauhinia. Okay. And next we will discuss about its root system. It is like that of the dicot, that is taproot and branched, elaborate root system we can see. Then coming to its stem characteristics, it is erect, woody, herbaceous, for example Cassia tora, or climbing, that is Bauhinia vahli. Then branched, glabrous or covered with pricks. മുള്ളുകളുണ്ട് കണ്ടോ, that is glabrous, that is the green and shiny stem surface and with the pricks. Here example is Parkinsonia aculeata, example Jerusalem thorn. Okay, and that sharp spines are the specialty of this Parkinsonia. So that is the stem characteristic. And coming to leaf, and leaf is normally alternate leaf base. We can see here also like that of Mimosaceae, pulvinous is there. So leaves are pulvinate, compound, unipinnate, that is unipinnate or bipinnate. Okay, and unipinnate example Cassia tamarindus. Here the leaf, first photo explains the tamarindus leaf. First, generally suppose we concentrate on the tip portion, we can see these two leaflets are not exactly opposite. One is present on the upper portion, that's why it is unipinnate. Okay, and otherwise it appears as bipinnate. But here in Caesalpinia, we can see the exact opposing leaflet. So it is bipinnate. And here we can see this Bauhinia leaf. Actually, these two are actually common leaf itself, because there we can see the cohesion between only two leaflets are there, and two leaflets we can see cohesion. Okay. And here it is written, and in Bauhinia the leaf is deeply emarginate. That is due to the fusion of two leaflets. Okay, that is the specialty. That is, leaves are compound leaves, and we can see this bipinnate condition and also unipinnate condition. And coming to the second part of our family study, that is floral characters. And the inflorescence is generally racemose. Here we can see this racemose pattern. It is pendant type. You can see young leaves, young flower buds are on the top. It is continuously growing. So it is the racemose type of inflorescence. And flowers are, each flower it is, we can see here also, that is pedicellate. ഒരു നല്ല pedicel ഇതിനുണ്ട് കണ്ടോ, pedicellate. Then bracts are there, so it is bracteate, zygomorphic. That is the speciality. Here the flowers are zygomorphic, then complete, hermaphrodite, that is both male and female bisexual flowers, and slightly perigynous and pentamerous. That is the floral character. And this Cassia fistula is also a practical specimen. Then next, first then we can study one by one. That is the study of calyx, then corolla, then gynoecium and androecium. Floral characters. First we will discuss about the characteristic of calyx. Normally sepals are 5, free or sometimes connate. Here we can see this, it's the sepal, and in bud condition this is the Caesalpinia bud, Rajamalliyude muttanadu. And here even though this sepals are free, it is very compactly arranged and appears like a cone. So it is connate. Then odd sepal anterior, imbricate estivation. In Tamarindus, the two posterior sepals are united. Here we can see this is the Tamarindus indicus, puliyude poovaanadu, Tamarindus indicus. That at background we can see the white colored calyx. Here 1, 2, 3, only it appears as 4 sepals. But here this upper one, that is the posterior petal, that is 2 petals are united together. So it appears as 4. Clear? So it is written here that posterior sepals are united in Tamarindus flower. Okay, that is the specialty of calyx. Then coming to the study of corolla, here the flower, here it is Caesalpinia, Rajamalliyude poovaanu. There, here also we can see Caesalpinia petals 5 in number. There are only 3 posterior petals in different species, that is Capifera. In Saraca, that is Ashogam, the petals are totally reduced. Here one speciality is there, that is this is 5 petals, and below we can see 5 sepals are also there, but sepal is also slightly orange yellow in color, but here the petals are not uniform. That's why it is zygomorphic flower. And one petal is clawed and with a stalk-like portion, and the other 4 are similar. Okay, that is the speciality of this flower. And in Saraca, that is Ashogam, here there is no petals. Only here we can see the figure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that slightly yellow or red colored, that is actually sepals. That is the speciality of Saraca. Then here we can see this a common figure, and here it is the dissected petals of Caesalpinia. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are more or less similar, but the fifth one is clawed petal. And like that, here we can see this sepals are also showing some difference. 4 sepals are similar and the fifth one is curved, spoon like. Okay, and anyway, we'll study about its stamens. Stamens, the number of stamens is normally 10, which are free, and sometimes we can see reduction in number of stamens by the formation of staminodes. Sometimes the stamens sometimes modified with a petal-like appearance or sometimes sepal-like appearance. അങ്ങനെ സംഭവിക്കാം ചില സ്പീഷീസിൽ. ഇൻ കാഷ്യ there are 3 posterior staminodes. Cassia, suppose we are discussing about the flower of Cassia fistula, there we can see this 3 posterior staminodes. So normally for complementary students, you can expect experimental plant or exam plant as normally Caesalpinia, because Caesalpinia there is no confusion. There we can see the normal stamens. Okay, and here from this figure we can see the characteristics of this Caesalpinia. And tamarind has only 3 stamens and which are monodelphous in nature and also diathecous and introse. Okay, clear ano? And coming to Gynoecium. Gynoecium, here this is the record diagram of Caesalpinia. This is a habit and this is the LS of flower and calyx, and then corolla. Here we can see the odd petal or clawed petal. Then all 4, here this odd petal is little bit large. You should draw something the size may little bit smaller than that of the normal petals. And this is the ovary. Okay, here it is the actual ovary. And monocarpellary ovary, superior or slightly inferior, unilocular with marginal placentation. Here we can see this marginal placentation. One side we can see the seeds. Okay, and straight or curved. Here it is curved. In this example, Caesalpinia, it is slightly curved. Then hairy, and when suppose we are viewing through dissection microscope only, we can see that hairs, and style very long. See this curved style, and then hairy, style long, stigma is very simple. Stigma is very simple. Okay, that is the characteristic of Gynoecium, that is monocarpellary, ovary superior or slightly inferior, unilocular with marginal placentation, straight or curved, hairy, style long, stigma simple. And these are the characteristic features of Gynoecium. Sometimes in some species we can see bicarpellary Gynoecium. And in Saraka, that is Ashokam, it is apocarpus pistil. And remember, the placentation is marginal. Okay, then fruit is a legume and never breaks up. Normally it's here in this figure it is broken and it is mechanically split open, and otherwise it won't split open naturally. Then sometimes we can see Samara, the fruit type Samara, for example in Pterolobium, a species is there, Pterolobium, there we can see Samara fruit. And coming to the seed characteristics, seed is non-endospermic, or very rarely endospermic fruits are reported, but commonly it is non-endospermic. And the pollination is endomophilous, that is it is pollinated, a successful pollination. We can see viable or fertile seeds are produced. So the agent of pollination is insects, so it is endomophilous. Here we can see this butterfly is pollinating, and here this See, this clawed petal is acting like a an attaching organ for the insects. Then what are the, from this study, that is about the habit, vegetative characteristics and sexual characteristics or floral characteristics, how we can identify a particular plant as Caesalpiniaceae. That is, leaves always peripinnate, flowers zygomorphic, calyx and corolla is there, and these are all showing this zygomorphic characteristic, and ascendingly imbricate condition, stamens 10 or less, maximum number is 10, and free, gynoecium monocarpellary. Sometimes very rarely we can see the bicarpellary condition with the marginal placentation. And but remember once again that important characteristics, that is mostly trees and shrubs, rarely herbs, inflorescence mostly racemose type, and in Caesalpinia it is corymb, it's a type of raceme, or sometimes we can see panicule also there. Then flowers slightly zygomorphic. Because why it is slightly zygomorphic? It is not like that of the papillonaceous corolla. It is completely zygomorphic. Here it is slightly zygomorphic. It is a character of this subfamily. Then pentamerous and perigynous, sepals 5, free or slightly fused and imbricate estivation. Corolla shows distinct of 5 free petals, ascendingly imbricate estivation here because one petal is odd and it is slightly curved, and we can say as clawed petals. Then and that clawed petal is the smallest and innermost. Then stamens 10 in 2 whorls of 5 each, because it is arranged in 2 circles, 2 whorls ആയിട്ട് arrange ചെയ്തിരിക്കും, and each, if it is that genus is with 10 stamens, we can see 5 plus 5 arrangement. Some may be reduced to staminodes as in Cassia species, and usually free and variable in length. Then gynoecium is monocarpellary or sometimes very rarely bicarpellary with marginal placentation. So remember the placentation. Fruit is long legume, or sometimes it is Samara type, and in endospermous or non-endospermous seeds, the pollination is endomophilous. Then ornithophily sometimes we can see in Bohemia. So these are the general characteristics. So next we will study about, this may be asked for former question, that is economic importance of Caesalpiniaceae. That is because it is economically important, because we can categorize this economic importance of Caesalpiniaceae into different herds. First we will discuss about food. The flower buds of Bohemia variegata are used as vegetable. The fruits of Tamarindus indica are spicy and used as condiment. Okay, that's why it is important as. Then also the seeds of Tamarindus indica yield a starch, and it may be used as cattle feed also. You can write that point also. Then medicine, the pulp of the pods of Cassia fistula is utilized as purgative, and bark decoction of Saraca indica, അത് നമുക്ക് എല്ലാവർക്കും അറിയാവുന്നതാണ്, അശോകത്തിൻ്റെ bark is used as a remedy for menstrual disorders. It's very common medicine under Ayurveda for menstrual problems. Then fibers, the bark of the Bohemia wachli, that is the climber, yields fibers which are used in rope making. It's a strong rope which is normally used in the northeast states of India. Then dye, it's a most important economic importance. That is, dye yielding plant is there. The wood of Hematoxylin campbellianum yields a dye called a hematoxylin. This is an anatomical and also it's a cytological stain. It is not written here. It's a cytological stain. Then tanning industry, that is a ports of Caesalpinia cordiaria, Caesalpiniaceae and Caesalpinia digyna are used in tanning leather. That is, tanning process you all people know. That is when the animal skin is converted to leather, it needs a chemical treatment. That process is called a tanning. Normally for tannin, eucalyptus is using and then pinus, some extracts from the Gymnosperm pinus is also using for this tanning. But here this spots of Caesalpinia, some species, is also using for this tanning purpose. Then ornamentals. Of course, you can see very showy, colorful flowers are there. So we can use these plants as ornamentals. Delonix regia, that is Vaga, Ulmoha, then Bauhinia species, that Bauhinia acuminata, Bauhinia purpurea, all are there. Then Caesalpinia pulcherrima, that is Rajamalli. So many such species are there. Saraca indica, these are the common plants of our area. And roadside plants are idellam. Delanoxia and Saraca are like for their deep shade giving quality also. Okay. These are the economic importance. Here for your interest, this is the cytological stain, that is hematoxylin, somewhat costly stain, which is extracted from this wood chips. And at the time diluted condition, it appears as red or magenta. When it is treated with this chromosomes or the cell wall materials, it turned into deep blue or purple, and later on it is turned into black. So it is, we can see the characteristics of chromosomes very well. That's why it is a hematoxylin campbellianum bark. The dye is extracted from hematoxylin campbellianum. Okay. Well, these are the family characteristics of Caesalpiniaceae. Okay, study well and try to remember some of these botanical terms, because it's very common and it is very nearby plants. And this is actually the flower of tamarind. Puliyida poovaanadu. Okay. അപ്പോൾ ഇത്രയും കാര്യങ്ങൾ നിങ്ങൾ പഠിക്കാൻ ശ്രമിക്കുക. If you are having any doubt, you can ask. Thank you.